All right, y'all, so let's talk about this. Now, first thing I want to talk about, I want to say, everything is not always on the upside. People celebrate, but there's always something that can happen where everybody's not, in favor of your decisions. Now, I'm going to point this out because I feel like these things are vital. We are holding fighters accountable to what they say and do. Okay? That's life. Now, Keyshawn Davis, we saw him standing face to face with Bill Haney. Keyshawn Davis said that he wants to fight Devin Haney next. You heard Bill Haney say, "Hey, look, man, you promise?" He said, "Because all your DMs, you saying you want Devin Haney next. So you want that fight? We can make it happen. All right? That's next, right?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Right? Shook his hand and everything. Okay? Now, Keyshawn Davis was being interviewed. I think it was Shannon Sharp show. I think it was him. I saw a clip, and I was listening while I was doing shit in my house, and I do believe it was the Shannon Sharp show. But anyway, he says, "I got options." He said he's talking about going up to fight some British guy before he fights Devin Haney. "I don't have to fight Devin Haney. I got options. I'm a businessman." I said, see? Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's that bullshit. I like Keyshawn Davis as a fighter, but you see this mentality that people have of thinking that they're just going to talk and, like the world moves and stops on their call. That's not what happens. If you would have said to Bill Haney, "Listen, not next. It's somebody I want to fight first, and then I want Devin." Now, do you expect Devin to sit around and just wait for you? No. But just be straight up on what you say. Because now all of a sudden, and to say, "I don't have to fight Devin, and I got options." He's talking about fighting this British guy over in the UK, and how I'd love to do this and that. It's like, nah, man. Nah, that's not the way. See, Shakur Stevenson, he called out Conor Ben. And he says to Conor Ben, like, "Let's make that happen next." And he said, "Hey, I want that same rehydration clause that you gave Chris Eubanks Jr., right?" He's not going to do that. And you heard him, come to 147. You want to fight? You think I'm scared of you? I'm not. Like, anytime somebody got to start hollering, "You think I'm scared of you?" Why would you be scared of little Shakur anyway, right? No, scared has nothing to do with it. It's a challenge that he wants. Right now, personally, I think Shakur Stevenson will beat the shit out of fucking Conor Ben. I think he completely outclasses him. Conor Ben is too arrogant, and he doesn't really have any discipline. And he tried to bully the bigger Chris Eubanks Jr. So his ego's going to get to him in there with a guy that he's naturally bigger than. And he's smacking him around the ring and shit. Nah, he's not going to like that. And he's going to try to go all out. He can't outbox Shakur. So you got to make it a rough fight. I don't say dirty because I don't believe in that shit. At that point, then, now you're not boxing. If you want a street fight, let's do it in the street then. At the end of the day, I don't think he has anything for Shakur. The best thing he has against Shakur is a puncher's chance. The best thing he has. Now, the same way, him and Eddie purposely tried to get us a weight stipulation to drain Chris Eubanks Jr. And Eddie, I think he'd get down even more. Of course you want him to come down more because you want Conor Ben to have all the advantages. Eddie Hearn knows damn well if he was managing Conor Ben, he'd be saying they're trying to weight drain this guy. That guy hasn't fought at that weight in ages. And he's trying to drain life. Of course we know that's the case. Now, do you think Conor Ben is going to put himself in that same situation? No. He doesn't want to get his ass kicked into the point where, damn, now I'm even weaker. No, he doesn't want that. Now, the whole thing about that is, fair is fair though. If you can put that stipulation on somebody, you can't turn around and complain and say anything about a person putting that same stipulation on you, but that's not going to happen. But at the same time, Shakur Stevenson said, I'm a businessman. See, here's where, look, first of all, Shakur's going to have this thing where everybody's going to keep comparing him to Floyd and Crawford, and even for the people that's trying to say these things in a positive way. You see how everybody's talking about, oh, wait, when she start putting them shots together, once she get in the pocket and get a guy hurting her. First of all, I'm like, yeah, if Shakur, that's the least of his worries. If Shakur understands what he's supposed to do, him and his team is doing the right things, forget what everybody else is saying. Like, I saw Tim Bradley's video, and I understand what Tim is saying, and him talking about we ain't even seen it best Shakur yet, because he's looking at things that Shakur, if he's doing, they're comparing him too much to Terrence Crawford. Two different type of fighters. And the thing that got me about even the comparisons that they were making, okay, Shakur hit T.O. with a shot that he did a left uppercut. It was quick, and it came out of nowhere, and T.O. didn't see it, and it knocked him off balance. But he never had T.O. in the position where T.O. was hurt and wobbled and staggering around the ring, and no. He didn't do that. So to just go for the fucking kill, for what? And he has brittle hands. You know what I mean? He even talked about talking to Floyd and reaching out to different people to try to find out, like, what do you do for brittle hands? Well, throwing more punches certainly isn't going to cure that. Okay, even when you hit the bag and all these things, like, this is constant wear and tear. And the best thing you can do for your hands with whatever treatment that they're giving you and going to the doctors and all that shit, therapy and whatever type of therapy they would do. I don't have bad hands. I never had that issue, so I don't know for sure how that. But bottom line, I do know they have all types of. They do have like treatments for your hands and shit like that. Okay, but things that you can do, but it's just temporary. Because the second you get back in the gym and start hitting that bag alone, just hitting the bag alone, hitting the speed bag, everything is on your hands. So, and for him, if he goes up in weight, because you got to remember, he's fighting at 140 pounds. So even if he went to 147 to fight for Conor, they're not fighting for a belt. Now, if there's no belt on the line, what the fuck does he gain by going up? Now, for Conor, it does everything in terms of, I just beat Shakur Stevenson, who was highly ranked. Well, shoe on the other foot, Conor been, all these years he's been boxing, man, he still hasn't done anything to really be in that upper echelon of fighters. Like people just don't view him that way at all. So anyways, he's not going to be willing to do that. So I doubt that this fight ever even happens. Really. Unless Shakur Stevenson goes up to 147 and stay there. But just to go up there just to fight Conor Ben, that's no super fight, man. That's just a fight. You got so many people at 140 that you can fight. And I say the same thing about Keyshawn, who's talking about going to 147. Like, bro, what? These guys moving kind of weird in a way. Now, you get praised and you get backlash. That's the way things go. You already know fuck the race fans, but you know they want to see both of them lose. And especially Shakur for beating up on T.O. Shakur was being interviewed and he talked about how he went to go see T.O. and how he was sitting there by himself, like, yo, why he throwing on his 10 up? I'm like, see, this is what I'm saying to you guys, man. The sport is one thing, right? But the personal stuff and all that, people quick to walk away. And that man sat there at the press conference and told you to suck his dick and all this goofy shit. And y'all always worried about your enemy. But anyway, I don't know who he's going to fight next, but I'm going to tell y'all something, man. If they start politicking and picking and choosing, it's going to end up being a thing where those chairs are going to turn to boos real quick. And the thing about it is, it's different when you get booed for beating the guy that people wanted you to lose to, versus you calling names out and then when the fight is, hey, let's go. Because Devin Haney already sent the tweet telling him, yo, Keyshawn, let's go. And then Keyshawn decides that I don't need Devin Haney. Now, remember, when it came to him fighting Tank, now remember how adamant he was about fighting Tank? And he made it known, I don't need Tank. I just want to fight him. Okay. Well, now you're saying you don't need Devin Haney. But you want to go to the UK and fight a British guy. I would love to go to the UK. I'm like, see, we'll see where this goes going forward. But this isn't a good look, man. What's all this shaking the hands? This is the same shit Teofimo did. Shook Bill Haney's hand and promised Devin was next. The fight never fucking happened. And we know it wasn't because of Devin. Let the Teofimo fans tell it, of course it was because of Devin. Because, you know, Teofimo don't duck no smoke. Yeah. At the end of the day, same shit. He stood there. His dad shook the hand of Bob Arum, promised Lomachenko was next. Fight never happened. Now, I just watched Keyshawn stand up here. We all seen it. And he shook Bill Haney's hand. And Bill told him, now, according to your DMs, you want this fight next, right? You promise? Now he's talking about he don't have to fight Devin. First off, you're not a bigger star than Devin. And to be honest with you, if you're willing to make this fight happen, you don't need to play these games and, I'm just trying to get the money up. Nah, the money will be there. You beat Devin, the money definitely will be there. But, you know, all this I'm a businessman shit, and I'm like, all right, see, this is getting to the point where, honestly, man, it just doesn't feel right. And especially, it comes to a point where if Keyshawn goes up to 147 pounds, like he's saying he's going to do, you beat Jermaine Ortiz, but there's still more work that could be done at 140. I'm not understanding. I mean, see the weight class that you guys are at right now, and the thing is, if you end up not wanting to fight, if you end up not really wanting to fight against Shakur, and y'all we friends and we whatever the fuck, and it's going to turn sour. Keyshawn, well, that was something different what him and his brothers did that had, you know, the people turn on his ass because we didn't like what that ignorant shit that he did. But Keyshawn, and these guys better understand something, man. Like, this is what I always say. Okay, you got a big win, great, but don't get high for that shit. Understand, you are in a position right the fuck now. Okay, right now, you are in a position where you need to stay on the track you're on and not get cocky, not get arrogant, not start with this I don't need you type of shit, but basically be a man of your own word, man, and understand nobody want to see you fight the top guys. Now, of course, the race fans is going to try to point out who you're fighting, even though they're all, you know, supportive of the fighters that they like when they do this dipping and dodging shit. And hopefully you don't start to hear Shakur or Keyshawn talking this, I'm at a point I can do what I want bullshit, because that seems to be the song everybody sings now at a certain point in their career. And I feel like as long as you holding titles, as long as you always got something to prove. And at the end of the day, if you feel like you don't have anything else to prove, then let the belts go, and then you can start doing circus fights and picking and choosing or whatever the fuck. But until you do that shit, man, no. You can't be the guy and not fight the people you're supposed to fight. So why promise you want a particular fight next just to turn around and like, Devin is not going to sit here and sweat you, man. Devin, look, you know these fighters put themselves in a position where they start getting arrogant and cocky, but the fighters that they try to avoid and hold off, all this, let it build up, bro, stop with that shit, man. Any fighter can go out and lose a fight, and then the fight that everybody wants to see is ruined. But if you are confident in your skills, you don't worry about it. You really don't. You really don't. But to say, I want you next, and then start talking about you want Devin Haney next. Now you want this British fighter. You want to go to the UK and all. Come on, man. Come on, bro. And you stood there and said something completely different to Bill Haney. Now I'm bringing this up because it's going to become a conversation later on. And where it started is where we got to go back to, because people lose track. Oh, nah, man. Because I can hear somebody now, Dev don't want the smoke. No, Dev already sent the tweet, like I said, saying, yo, Keyshawn, let's go. Now, all of a sudden, not even 48 fucking hours later, here's this dude on another fucking podcast talking about he don't need Devin Haney. What the fuck is that? Then why was you pretending you wanted to fight him so bad? So I'm like, damn, you already changing your mind, man? And as for Shakur knows that he's not going to get Conor Ben. I mean, did they plan this shit? Let's talk some shit and try to stir up the UK fans and get more attention. What was this? Because you know damn well Shakur has to know Conor's not going to go for that shit. Conor's a spoiled little entitled brat motherfucker, want anything to favor him. And in his mind, he's a bigger star than everybody. He's not going to do that. So Shakur really might as well focus on somebody else. But it's funny, you call out this British guy in the ring, but then all of a sudden, here goes Keyshawn with he want to fight a British guy. All right, man. If y'all gonna start this, Joseph Parker, Tyson Fury bullshit, man, then this shit's gonna turn ugly. It's gonna turn ugly. You can't sit here and want to fight so bad and claim a guy duck you, but then now, when you start to get some momentum, let me fuck my own momentum up and not fight the guy that I promised I wanted to fight next. Or let me just play duck, duck, goose and sit back. Because listen, man, in today's era of time, people forget real quick. They get bored real quick. You have to know what you're doing and you have to be true to your word, man. Bottom line. I like both of them brothers in the ring. But this right here, y'all got to be real careful with how y'all move. And we will just see how things go in the near future. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Catch y'all on the next video.